Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to World of Wildlife. It's so good to see everybody here. For those of you that haven't come before, absolutely welcome. You're now part of this community, and I hope you'll be coming on a regular basis. The idea of World of Wildlife is that wildlife lovers around the world get together and we have a chat to each other. We share what we're doing. We learn new things from different people, and our guest speaker today will be Dr. Asia Haynes, who is going to be talking about manta rays. We'll also hear from what I've been up to. My name's Dr. Sarah Pye, and I'm the host of this program together with Dr. Wong Suti, who is the director and founder of the Bornean Sun Bear Conservation Centre in Malaysia. So yeah, welcome everybody. There will be more people coming in as we go, I imagine, because we've almost sold out today, which is absolutely awesome. I'm going to start by sharing my screen. Where is it? There we go. So there's Wildlife Wong there in the corner, which is the cartoon version of Dr. Wong Suti. And I write Wong's books about Wong. So he and I started this gathering before COVID because it seemed like a lot of people were struggling to link together throughout the world during COVID, and it became a way to connect during that time. So I write books about his adventures with different animals in the rainforest. The first one that I wrote, Saving Sun Bears, is Dr. Wong's biography. It was written as part of my own doctorate and published in 2020. After that, I realized that I really wanted to engage kids in the stories about his adventures with different species. So there are now 6 books in the Wildlife Wong series. So those are all the books are available through bookstores, through libraries, and my website if anyone's interested in having a copy of their own. So I'm going to give you a little bit of an update about what I've been doing. Each of my books includes a story. It includes informational text about the animal and experiments that link back to the story. So since writing the kids' books, I've designed workshops which I take into schools and deliver all sorts of different workshops that connect kids with the environment and nature in a hands-on sort of a fashion. So this month I did a trip together with George, who's here. We drove all the way from where we live at the bottom right-hand corner of that map on the Sunshine Coast. We drove up to Rockhampton, 6 hours away, crossed the Tropic of Capricorn. So you can see the tropic, that they've got a monument at the tropics, so you can put your feet in 2 different, the tropics and the non-tropics. So we headed up to Rockhampton and did 2 visits in schools. I spent time with both a high school and a primary school, working on the differences between narrative writing and informational writing with both of those. And with the high schoolers, we looked at writing their environment and improving their skills in actually using literary techniques to write the environment. So yeah, while I was at one of these schools, they had a petting zoo. So you can imagine I was in heaven at the petting zoo as well, which was pretty cool. So yeah, that's pretty much all I've been doing apart from writing my next book. And I'm going to tell you more about that sometime in the next few months. I'll give you a bit more of a rundown on what's happening there. Needless to say, you will be meeting some of the people I've been interviewing for that book. And one of them is our guest speaker today, Dr. Asia Haynes. Now, before we pass over to Asia to tell us all about the amazing undersea world of manta rays, we'll get an update from Dr. Wong and see what's been happening in Borneo, what's happening with the sun bears, and anything else that's going on. Over to you, Wong.
Yeah, okay, good. Well, welcome everybody, and thank you for joining us again for this month. I think over the last month, things has been very busy at Borneo right now. And then right now the tourists packing coming back, and June, July is the peak for the traveling seasons, and then every day we have several hundreds of tourists from all over the world visiting us. So things has been busy. And then for me myself, last month I joined a wildlife crime workshop and in Kota Kinabalu, organized by the Sabah Wildlife Departments and also WWF Malaysia. And then I try to, understand the whole situations of combating wildlife crimes. And one of the things that I learned and realized is that it is so difficult for the prosecutors to prosecute anybody who seems like breaking the law, because they need to gather a lot of hard evidence to be able to prosecute them on court. And then so it makes me a little bit frustrating, because obviously this is they are breaking the law, but the authority need to gather sufficient evidence to prove that they are actually breaking the law. It's very, very tedious things. Sometimes is even impossible to prosecute. So at the end, I was thinking, when we do wildlife conservations, education is a must. So we will continue to do our education, try to educate the public about wildlife conservation and so on. And then the second thing is, of course, the law enforcement is extremely important. But first, we need to have very harsh wildlife law, followed by law enforcement, and then followed by prosecution, and finally the judge need to give heavy sentence on the people who are found guilty on breaking the wildlife law. And then given at the whole prosecution process is actually quite challenging, so it makes me realize that we have to depend on option number 3, which is improve local people livelihood, so that they do not poach, so that they can make a living from the wildlife that in their backyard through nature-based tourism. And that's why nature-based tourism is so important for conservation, and they should work hand on hand. And Boden Samay Conservation Center, it is an example. By establishing in Sabah, we promote nature-based tourism, and hopefully tourist money can support our center. Right now, most of our revenues coming from the tourist money, and it works really well. And of course, when tourists come here to Sabah, they also visit other places as well. And then when they visit other places, their money are spent on the ground in other places, and so for great jobs, and also improve local people livelihood to a point where the local people realize that wildlife, that running wild, worth money. So we should definitely work towards that directions. Yeah, so that is the
important point you're making, Wong, in that if we can change people from being poachers to being tour guides,
absolutely,
they become
absolutely
benefit in a different way, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So in order to have a happy wildlife, we need to make sure that the local people are happy, and then and how one way to do that is to nature-based tourism. And then also in order for this whole circle to work, we first must have a government or politician who protect forest and wildlife first. Then it will draw the forest and wildlife, like Sabah right now can draw in tourists, and then tourist money will create jobs and improve local people livelihood. And I always stress to the politician is that, hey, guess what happened in the next election, right? Of course, they will vote for governments who will protect wildlife, protect forests, and then improve their livelihood. But the governments need to do that protections of the wildlife and the forest first. Then it can go into the positive feedback loop and getting better and better. If not, it will go to the directions of the negative feedback loop, where less forest, less wildlife would have less tourists will have less money, poorer people, and then the poor people would go and hunt more in the forest, and you are going into this negative feedback loop and then everything will wash into a drink. Not good and not good. Yeah. So anyway, so another thing
about the judicial process that you've just been going through. I know you've done that in the past before. You've done programs with the US Departments of Justice as well.
Yes.
So
yes.
What was different this time? Was there anything new that's been going on since you were last working with organizations similarly?
Yeah, so during that time, that workshop is actually trying to educate the judges, try to introduce them, how important is wildlife, and therefore when they come across any wildlife cases, they have to treat those wildlife cases seriously, and then give the heavy punishment on those people who are found guilty. That the wildlife law, obviously this country, the whole nations, the entire world is run by law from different countries, isn't it? But this is quite challenging because most of the times the local people are poor, and then in this part of the world, humans is always superior over wildlife or animals. So if the wildlife law are being treated equally as a human civil law, then there'll be no problem. Yeah, and many developed country like US have done that. That's why wildlife in most developed country are well protected. Yeah, and then the local people are aware and do not choose to break the law. All the hunters follow the regulations and so on and so forth. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so and then another thing that I did a few days ago, I went to Tabint, went to visit Tinam. So Tinam is she has been in the forest for more than 6 months now, and then she's doing good. She's still we're still walking her in the forest, getting bigger, getting longer. I did not dare to get close, after last month incidents. So I just let them go and do their work because she is aware.
So for those people who don't know, Tenem is a sun bear who is a sun bear cub that's being soft released into the middle of the rainforest with carers looking after her, just as a background.
Yeah, so it is good to see that progress is ongoing. But again, the forest in Tabin, we have a lot of rains. Working condition is not good. It's quite challenging. It's not easy to work in that kind of environment. And right now, today we have a team of 5 people camping in the forest for about 8 to 9 days to go and change the camera trap pictures, and then to service the stations. Hopefully they'll bring in a set of new interesting pictures. And then Elvia, the master student, is still continue doing her master in Tabin and trying to trap sun bears. Right now she already have opened the trap but right now only one trap for about 2 months now. Still have no luck on trapping any sun bear. So sun bear trapping is not easy. So the effort need to be increased and so on. And then as of the bears in the center, yeah, so far so good. We have one of our bear, Mamatai, is undergo eye surgery just last week. We invite a vet ophthalmologist, Dr. Cheng, come to do the operation, and then Dr. Woon will write up about that procedure, that operations soon. Yeah. So we have eye surgery. Yes, it's always a lot of stuff going on. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, okay. Well done.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for that.